I had to liberate myself. So Black liberation isn't about somebody coming and doing it for you. It's about us doing for ourselves in the same way that I had to do for myself. And I continue to do that every day because we're all socialized into white supremacy. It does not matter where we are on the globe. Even if you're in a majority Black country, majority brown country, we're all impacted by this.
All right, Sherry, I have a question for you. Now, we are in the West, which means that a certain access to a certain information, we don't have it now. Where are we really lacking the possibility of reorganizing ourselves? Because before you respond, I want you to pay attention to the man I made mention of before, Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey at the time organized the people together. Up until now, I don't know if I can point at any person who is this big, who is able to pull the people together. And of course, we're not asking White House to pardon him. And I don't really know to what effect that pardon is going to go. I don't know if that is really going to have any effect in terms of how we take our position in the world. Because nobody is going to give you anything. I want to repeat that again in case they didn't hear me. Nobody is going to give you anything. So I go back again. Where are we lacking? Is it that we don't have the tools to organize ourselves? Where are we really lacking? Because this is a narration that we are going to champion. Nobody's going to do this for us. Help me.
Right. So that's like a village. Listen, we could spend an hour just talking about this. So my opinion here is, one, we are socialized into a society that promotes individualism, right? So self. What am I getting out of this? What have I got to lose? Not the greater good, not for the greater community. What me. We are also socialized into a capitalist society. So everything is structured around the very few, so the top 1%, top 5% benefiting of, let's be honest, the exploitation of everyone. Do you know what I mean? If you think about the hierarchy within organizations, our education systems, it's all about sifting off so that the very top get to a disproportionate amount of benefit. So when you're always trying to fight your way, right? So imagine you grow up in a poor household and you're thinking about where freedom lies. Well, freedom lies in your mind, playing the game that already exists and the game to succeed. So you do things according to trying to get out of poverty. And the way that you do that often is to play within the system that already exists. And so we all get on that hamster wheel, all of us, to different degrees. And it's until we start to, as Black people and as African diaspora, African heritage people, start to recognize our own power. In the example I use, if you look at key industries where we are overrepresented, music, sport, entertainment, look at all of these big brands that we know have treated their Black colleagues appallingly. Why can we never collectively turn around and say, I'm putting down my bank card, and for the next one day, I am not spending a penny with any of these brands. For the next one day, I am not giving them any creativity. I am not going to cut them a music track. I am not going to step onto the tennis court. I am not going to go and run my 100-meter relay or whatever else it is. We do not use our own power, to your point. So it's not that we don't have the tools. It's not that we don't have the intellectual capability. It's because fundamentally we're fearful of the consequence of that for ourselves as individuals. So we're not willing, or not all of us are willing to take the risk. Do you know what I mean? And then when you multiply that, so we're not lacking in tools. I promise you, we have got an abundance of tools. It's up here. Pan-Africanist writers for decades have said the same thing. Until we free ourselves from mental slavery, that's what that means. Marcus Garvey talks about that as well. That's why we struggle to come together for, even in spite of how we're treated, even in spite of the visuals, of just how much we are viewed in society. That is still often not enough, because that's where the work is done, not physically.
All right, Sherry, you see, I have a lot of things that I really would have asked you, but of course, we're going to come here another day because there are so many important things that we can talk
I'm
about,
so
no?
sorry. Like you asked me the question. We should only have spent an hour talking about this. We should have spent time just talking about this bit, shouldn't we?
That is what we do here. Our podcast sometimes it lasts for up to 2 hours sometimes because we are not in haste. These are important arguments. We need to trash it really without being in haste. By the way, that is fine because you also deal on some other important thing that I like, which is racism in the area of business. That is an argument of its own. We don't just mention it, we need to go in detail and explain it. Now, I was reflecting in the issue that have happened now. I said, could they maybe have treated Americans like that? Or maybe people that are slightly a little bit, okay, we are looking at white now, color and all that, maybe Chinese, before they could treat Chinese like that. But would they treat Chinese like that now? The answer is no.
No.
Now, okay, now the question I'm actually going here for is, if we organize ourselves, that is where we'll be able to have a position in this world. If we don't organize ourselves, we are always going to suffer. We're always going to ask for help. We're always going to cry. We're always going to accuse other people. But if we organize ourselves, look, for example, I'm sorry, I'm taking it a little bit harsher now. Why is the United States clamoring for no-fly zone in Ukraine? Since we are using Ukraine as an example, they know that the guy on the other end, they are very dangerous because they have something they can put on the table to control the conversation. If the issue were happening in Africa, it would take one sitting at the United Nations. It would tell the other country, this is what we are going to do, and they will do it because you don't have anything they are going to bring to the table. When it comes to this international relation, like we want to call them, they come with nothing, worthless paper, euro or dollars. Then they go to Africa and they take resources, physical resources.
Yes. And then they sell it back to Africa and they take the profit.